You are listening to a recording from the Cooperating to Build a Better Nova Scotia conference in Halifax, a celebration marking the United Nations International Year of Cooperatives.
Okay, so we're here at the Mount and we're starting. This is the beginning of the co-op radio and Cooperating to Build a Better Nova Scotia conference here at Mount St. Vincent University. I have Mark Sparrow from the Nova Scotia Co-op Council and Leslie Brown also from the Nova Scotia Co-op Council and Mount St. Vincent University. So I'll pass it to Mark first. Here you go.
Thank you very much, Charlene. Apparently we're live, so that's good. Hello, everybody out there in Halifax and everybody that's listening online. We know that the webcast link has been sent far and wide through Ryakuga's efforts through social media and also through the Canadian Cooperative Association and many email newsletters. So hopefully we've got a good listenership, and we're very excited here today. We're at Mount St. Vincent. We're all getting geared up, and we've got a number of sessions planned. Today is going to be a half day of youth workshops, and then we go into a plenary this evening with Alain Waugh from the Rural and Cooperative Secretariat. So anyway, thank you very much for listening, everybody. And I'm going to pass it over to Leslie here to say a welcome and a few hellos.
Thank you very much. You were listening to Charlene Gagnon, who's taking care of the social media portion, and in a little while I'll have her come on and tell you how to get involved in Facebook and so on. And Fred Campbell of Ryakuga is the radio showman, and we'll introduce you to him as well. We're on we're on the web as well as on the radio, so you can listen to this live streamed. Yes, we're really excited about this. It's been a while in coming. We've had a very, very active steering committee and lots of support from the cooperative sector and from the university community. And tonight, the opening session is available to everyone. You don't have to register, so if you happen to be in the Halifax area and want to come for 7 o'clock, Alain Waugh is going to be speaking about Canada's cooperative journey. Maybe we should tell them why we care about cooperatives.
Sure. Well, the whole reason, I guess, why we're doing this conference to begin with is because it is the International Year of Cooperatives as designated by the United Nations. So a number of us got together last year and decided that this year would be appropriate for us to have a conference to bring the whole cooperative and credit union sector across Nova Scotia together for a few days. It's for learning, for networking, and for a number of sessions and research and the whole works. So, and the reason why the United Nations had declared it the International Year of Cooperatives is because of the positive contributions that cooperatives make to job creation, to social issues, to equality, to the engagement of people, and for transitioning people out of poverty as well in many developing countries. So we're very excited about having the opportunity to do this conference here at Mount St. Vincent to bring the co-op sector together. And I would invite you also, if you're sitting near a computer, to fire up your Twitter account and to follow Ryakuga, Ryakuga, on Twitter. And also you can go to ryakuga.ca where you can find the live feed for the radiocast if you would like to listen to the radiocast on the web. So that being said, I'm getting ready to move into some youth sessions for the afternoon. We're going to do a Co-ops 101 for the youth who are attending today. Give them the groundwork about what cooperative enterprises are and how they build a better world. And then we're going to have a number of presenters. We've got Amanda Hashi from La Bikerie Cooperative in Moncton, who's going to speak about their cooperative, and also somebody from the Loaded Ladle, Krista Bell from the Loaded Ladle Cooperative at Dalhousie will be on site, and Justin Ellerby, who's a former president of the North American Students of Cooperation. He's from California, and he's a student at the MBA program at Cape Breton University in Community Economic Development. So before I run off for those sessions, I'll hand it back to Leslie and see if she'd like to say a few more words, and maybe we'll wrap up on that and we'll get on our merry way. And thanks again for listening.
Yes. So we've already mentioned the plenary that's happening tonight, to which you are all invited. People who are interested in registering tomorrow, you would get to hear information about the cooperatives and global perspective. And so we're having people from the Masters of Management Cooperatives and Credit Unions program at St. Mary's University who've put together a panel, and they're going to be talking about the various various conferences and events around International Year of Cooperatives, and they're going to be bringing us some information and some stories from these conferences that have been taking place in many different parts of the world. So we're focused in on Nova Scotia, but we're not being parochial about it. We're very, very much interested in the place of the cooperative movement here in relation to the rest of the world. We're also having a session on business succession, and to that we're inviting lots of people who may not have been part of a cooperative, but who are looking for opportunities to turn over a business, perhaps because they're retiring, and want to know what some of their options might be. And one of them could be a form of a community cooperative or a worker-owned cooperative. So these are the sorts of things we're going to be talking about. We're ending on Saturday with a visioning session. We have wonderful involvement from government and support from government. And in fact, I should mention the banquet on tomorrow night, which you can buy separately ticketed. Just go to the Nova Scotia Co-op Council website and you can find the registration information. And NovaScotia.coop, yes, I should say that, NovaScotia.coop. And once you're there, you'll find the registration information for the banquet. And we're very pleased that Simone d'Entremont, the Deputy Minister for Economic and Rural Development and Tourism, is going to be speaking about policy frameworks in Nova Scotia and challenging us to think of different ways of cooperating together to build a better Nova Scotia.
So obviously we're excited. There's quite a lot going on here. This is many, many months of planning in the works that are coming to fruition right now. So we're very excited. And we did not plan this alone. And we just want to take a minute here to thank our people that have contributed to the conference. So I've got a list from our steering committee and our sponsors. So our steering committee is made up of folks from Mount St. Vincent University, the Nova Scotia Cooperative Council, Le Conseil Coopératif Acadien de la Nouvelle-Écosse, the Credit Union Atlantic Central and Caisse Populaires, Measuring the Cooperative Difference Research Network, Atlantic Cluster, Nova Scotia Economic and Rural Development and Tourism, St. Mary's University Sobey School of Business, Service Nova Scotia Municipal Relations and their co-op branch, and the Rural and Cooperative Secretariat, as well as the Canadian Cooperative Association. So these are people that have been on our steering committee, attending meetings, taking time out of their lives to help us put this conference together, basically since January. So we'd like to thank those people profusely for that. And also our sponsors, we have people that have stepped up and have made some financial contributions and some in-kind contributions that help to make this conference possible for us. So we have a legacy sponsorship from the Nova Scotia Economic and Rural Development and Tourism Office. We have a youth sponsorship from the Nova Scotia Department of Community Services. Translation services. We actually have simultaneous translation being provided on site today and throughout the conference for a number of sessions. And a sponsor that came through to help us with that was Université Sainte Anne. We have a number of supporting sponsors as well. Cape Breton University, Shannon School of Business, Co-op Atlantic, the Cooperators, Traduction New Brunswick Translation, Patterson Law. And it's also worth mentioning that we have a significant piece of research being developed to coincide with the launch of this conference. And we've had a number of organizations come together to help us with that research, which will measure both the economic and the social impacts of cooperatives on Nova Scotia. And those that have helped out with the research support include Mount St. Vincent University, Cape Breton University, Measuring the Cooperative Difference Research Network, the Nova Scotia Department of Finance, Service Nova Scotia and Municipal Relations, Nova Scotia Economic and Rural Development and Tourism, St. Mary's University, Sobey School of Business, and last but certainly not least, the in-kind support that we have from Ryakuga, who are here today providing the services for the community radio over the next couple of days. So I invite you to stay tuned in, and hopefully you will enjoy the programming. Back to Leslie, and I'm going to run off to my youth session now.
Okay, thanks. That's great. Maybe to say a few words about why we're even doing community radio. It's a rather novel experience, I think, for people here. And the idea is to reach out widely to the community in Nova Scotia who might be interested in cooperatives and cooperation, and to reach out to people far and wide who are able to access the programming through the web. So through the social media, of course, you can contribute, ask questions, hear some of the presentations and so on. And you can also contribute yourself. If you are involved in a co-op or have had experiences with cooperation that you'd like to share, we invite you to contact us, and it's possible that you might be interviewed on Skype or that you could be involved in other ways. Through community radio, it's a medium through which we can pull together people who are not physically co-present, together with people who are at an ongoing conference like this one, and stimulate and share information and access all sorts of materials that would otherwise be unavailable. We're hoping to have maybe a little bit of a legacy of this for the International Year of Cooperatives, that more people in Nova Scotia are aware of cooperatives and learn something about them and decide that they might like to contribute. I'll turn you over to Fred, who will tell you more about what he's up to here with all his machinery, and I'm awestruck by the number of wires, I have to say.
This is participatory communications. So, and basically it's community radio. So it's for the community. It's a community service. And the concept is that we have as many people coming and helping out and taking part. And also, what's also interesting is that some of the community radio stations in Nova Scotia are cooperatives and been cooperatives. The cooperative movement in community radio in Atlantic Canada has been together for a long time. So now I'm going to turn you over to Charlene, and she can tell you a little bit about the social networking that's happening.
Thanks, Fred. Thanks, Leslie and Mark, for introducing and giving us a brief rundown of all of the exciting programming that we're going to be hearing today and tomorrow and Saturday with Coop Radio.